So this week, of course, is Parshat Noach. Morning, how are you?
Morning, Parsha.
It's Parshat Noach, but being that we didn't have class last week, I'd like to share with you a really beautiful and very fundamental teaching from Rabbi Sacks about these two parshiot, about these two parshas of Breishit and Noach. Now, in order to get a sense of what these are about, let's go to page 54, which is where next week's Parsha begins, and that is Parshat Lech Lecha. And here we have Lech Lecha begins, V'yomer Hashem el Avram, Lech Lecha me'artzecha, u'moladetecha, me'beit avicha, go from your land, from your birthplace, from the house of your father, to the land that I will show you. Now, if we are to look at the start of the Jewish people, we look to Avraham. Rashi, the very first Rashi on the Torah, asks, why does the Torah, back on page 2, why does the Torah start with Breishit bara Elokim? Rabbi Yitzchak says the Torah should have started in the middle of Shemot, where we have the very first mitzvah that was commanded to the Jewish people. The very first mitzvah was HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chadashim. This month will be for you as the head of the months, the start of the months. In other words, the Torah means instructions for life, giving to us, and those are the mitzvot. The mitzvot, yeah, don't worry, you can explain, don't worry, it won't disturb me at all. So any explanation you want to give, please give, Elizabeth, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, the Torah is the instructions. Now, it's the mitzvot that are those instructions. Between Mincha and Marav, we started learning one of the essays of Ramchal about the world, Torah mitzvot. And he explains that the purpose of the world was mankind having choices between Tov and Ra, having choices between good and bad. And the world is an arena wherein mankind is placed to have these decisions that we make between good and bad. And a good decision brings God close to us, and a bad decision pushes God away from us, increases the amount of hester panim, of concealment. And he says, and the actions which bring God close to us are the mitzvot. And the actions which push God away from us are the isurim, are the prohibitions. So, the very first Rashi asks, well, why don't we cut to the chase over here? And let's go with the mitzvot. And he explains that at some point the nations are going to say, Listim atem, you are thieves, you are occupiers, you are colonialists. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. That you've taken the land of these 7 nations. And our response is, all of the land belongs to God. He created it. He gave it to whoever He sees fit. Breishit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Right? The signs used to say, Jews go back to Palestine. That's what the signs in Europe used to say. Now what do the signs say? Jews, get out of Palestine. Right? So that's the very first Rashi. If I could paraphrase Rav Yitzchak's question, we might also ask, well, let's start with Avraham. Let's start with the start of the Jewish people. What do these parshiot of Breishit and Noach, last week's and this week's parshiot, what are they really teaching us? What foundations are they laying for us? And let's keep in mind also that Ramban, in his introduction to the Torah, explains the role that each of the 5 books of the Torah, Chumash, Chomesh, 5, a 5th, right? The Chumash are the 5 books. Why 5 books? Why have 5 books? Start at the beginning and end at the end. And he explains how each of the 5 books serves a very specific role, purpose. And the book of Breishit is the book of creation. But don't think we mean the creation, the physical creation of the world. That the Torah dedicates all of 31 Pesukim to. All of 31 Pesukim. Clearly the Torah is not coming here to give us a physics lesson. That's not what it's coming to do. So the book of Breishit is about the creation of, good morning, so good to see you, is about the book of creation. The creation of the world, again, a scant 31 verses are attributed to that, dedicated to that. But then it's laying the foundations for the moral society. The avot, the imahot, they are the builders. They are the ones who lay down the creation of the Jewish people. That is why the second book is going from individuals, and Shemot, the second of the 5 books of the Torah, reiterates the Eilish Shemot Bnei Yisroel Aboyim Mitzrayim, and these are the names of the children of Israel who came down to Mitzrayim, because this second book is about the formation of the nation. This book is about the formation of the individuals. But Rabbi Sacks explains very beautifully that before we get to Avraham, in Parshat Lech Lecha, there are certain foundational principles of a society to exist, to succeed. And that is what is laid down in the first 2 parshiot, with the 4 major episodes of the first 2 parshiot. So what would you say are the major episodes, right? Not from a creation. Once man, Adam and Chava, mankind is created, what would you say are the 4 major episodes of these of the Parsha of Breishit and the Parsha of Noach? Give us one, Dov.
One would be getting put somewhere by Hashem and getting...
Okay.
It's a das.
Right? The Gan Eden story. Right? The Eitz Hadat, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, being placed into the Garden of Eden, right? And breaching the parameters that were given to us there, and being sent out of Garden of Eden. That is episode number 1. Good. Episode number 2.
Cain and Hevel.
Cain and Hevel. Cain and Abel. Right? Cain killing, murdering his brother Hevel, Abel. Number 3.
Where does Noah come into the flood?
Number 3 is Noach and the flood. Right? And number 4,
I think it's the tower.
good, is the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. Okay? So those are the 4 major episodes of the first 2 parshiot. Let's see, and again, I'm going with Rabbi Sacks here from the essays he has in his incredible book titled "To Heal a Fractured World," which last year we decided that that's what we gave out to the graduates for at the end of the year, the graduate luncheon that we have over here. We gave them a copy of that, and it's excellent, excellent, excellent.
I would
We tried. Believe me, I've tried.
That might be a little bit beyond what we're.
Well, and not, it's just that he's so booked up
Yeah.
for years, and he's so expensive.
No, we can.
Yeah.
We tried.
Okay. So let's go to episode number 1. Okay. Page 14. Oh, 1 second. Actually, I'm sorry, going back a little bit. Page Yes, thank you. Page 12. Right?
Yeah.
Verse, 16. Vayitzav Hashem Elokim. Marta, do you want to take that?
Vayitzav Hashem Elokim al ha'adam lemor mikol et hagan ochel.
One more.
Me'etz hadat tov vera lo tochel. Mimenu ki bayom achlecha mimenu me'ot tamut.
Good. 16 and 17 in English, please.
And Hashem God commanded the man,
Mm-hmm.
saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and bad you must not eat thereof. For on the day you eat of it, you shall surely die.
Okay, and it does not mean that you will die the moment you eat, but you will become mortal on the day that you eat. What is well, if God doesn't want Adam to eat it, so why put it in there?
It's a test. He's testing.
Okay, it's a test, but I think more than just a test, it is a very fundamental lesson, teaching that Adam is being given.
He has free will.
That he has free will, good, and I would take that, I would add to that, Dove.
Well, I was just going to say that Hashem put everything there for us to use at a certain time.
Okay, to build on that just a little bit.
We have free will, but he wants us to do good.
Free will wants us to do good, right? He put them into Gan Eden, into the Garden of Eden.
Everything was there.
Everything is there. But you have to realize that you are not the Baal Habayit. You are not the one who is in control here. You are not the owner. You are the guest. In my house, at least in my room, at least in
your side of your room.
my side of the room, right? I open any of the drawers, I see what's there, I decide what I want to do. I go to someone else's house, I appreciate your allowing me to enter your house, I appreciate that which you avail to me, but I recognize, I know, this is not my house. So the fundamental lesson that is being taught to mankind with the very first command, and it's a double command, eat from everywhere, but not here. Meaning that there are boundaries in life. The very first lesson given to mankind is there are boundaries in life. The world is not there simply for us to grab whatever we want. There are boundaries in life. And in order for mankind to survive, the boundaries must be honored, must be respected, must be followed. Right? Imagine if I decide, I think a green light means to stop. And I think a red light means to go. That's my interpretation of traffic patterns. I'm going to get myself and other people killed. There are boundaries, there are agreements that need to be set up. But that's already a societal agreement. Let's wait. Because right now we're still working with individuals, with personal. What then happens on page 14? Adam and Chava go and they partake of the Eitz Hadat. Pasuk Dalid, verse 4. Vayomer HaNachash. How do you take that? HaNachash Ela Isha?
Looking for it.
14 Dalid. Like
Vayomer HaNachash El Ha'isha Lomos Tumusun Ki Yadea Elokim Ki Vayom Achalchem Mimenu Nifkachu Einechem V'hiyisem Kelokim Yodei Tov V'ra.
Good. Want to take 4, 5, and 6 for us in English over here? Page 15.
The serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that on the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad." And the woman perceived that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable as a means to wisdom. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate.
Okay, so what happened now? All of a sudden in this Gan Eden, and we spoke about this on Rosh Hashanah, this Lashon Hara, this slanderous speech, took Gan Eden, took the Garden of Eden, and turned it into a prison. Right? Because all of a sudden, instead of God giving us all these things and creating some parameters, now He's trying to hold back the good stuff for Himself. Instead of being this incredible giver, He is this cruel hoarder who doesn't want others to partake. So what happened? And they ate. They ate. And then, here we go. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Right? He's hiding. So, Yud Aleph, Vayomer, God says, Mi gilecha ki yeromatah. Who told you that you are naked? Hamena ezer asher tziviticha levotzia chol mimenu achalta? Is it from the tree that I told you not to eat from that you ate? Vayomer ha'adam. Here we go. A man says, Ha'isha asher natata imadi hi natna li min ha'etz va'ochel.
He did the wrong response.
Right? What was his response? The woman that you gave to me, she gave to me from the tree, and I ate. What is this? A shirking of the personal responsibility. Right? Not only that,
But it's the first blame too.
it's the blame. Who's to blame?
She is.
Well, you
She
are.
is. And you are God. So what does he say? The woman, asher natata imadi, that you gave to me. Right? You gave her to me. It's your fault. It's her fault. It's everyone's fault but my own. You know, famously when you point a finger, you have 3 fingers pointing to yourself. Right? Right? So we have mankind with the freedom right? That Marty you had mentioned before. The freedom of choice. That is the Tselem Elokim. That is the image of God. A free-willed being with the ability to make choices. But along with the ability to make choices comes responsibility. That comes achrayut. Comes the responsibility. The very first episode teaches us the importance of personal responsibility. I must take responsibility for my actions, for my choices. And society, our society today, there's all these different types of determinism. It's my genes, it's my biology, it's my upbringing, it's my education. It's everything but me. It's all determined. I have no real choice. I have no responsibility. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of whatever it might be. But I am the perennial victim. It's not my, what do you want from me? And the very first lesson that the Torah is telling us with the first episode is freedom must be accompanied by boundaries, and one must take personal responsibility for the actions that we as free individuals take. Adam denies personal responsibility. Now, just so we're not putting down just the men over here, right? Verse 13. And Hashem, God said to the woman, what is this that you have done? The woman said, the serpent deceived me. Hanachash hishiani. He has deceived me. He misled me. Va'ochel. It's not my fault. Don't look at me. Whose fault is it? It's the serpent. It's the snakes. Now, interestingly, we're not going into this right now. Hashem then turns to the Nachash. Right? And he doesn't say to him, what have you done? The Nachash had a great answer. What was the great answer that the Nachash had? The Gemara refers to this as with the term Divrei Harav, Divrei HaTalmud, Divrei Mi Shomim. The words of the master, the words of the student. Who do you listen to? Right? You know, a parent says to a child, why'd you go there? My friend told me to. I told you not to. And your friend told you to. Who are you supposed to listen to? Divrei Harav, Divrei HaTalmud, Divrei Mi Shomim. He's the only one who had a good answer. If you told them to do something and I tell them to do otherwise, who should they listen to? Right? That was the response, but the Nachash was not given the opportunity. Okay?
He's not quoted here, right?
I'm sorry?
He's not quoted here. The serpent's not quoted.
He's not given any opportunity, right? To Adam, God said to him, who told you that you're naked? Did you eat from the tree I told you not to? He gives his response. To the woman, God says, what have you done? She gives hers a response. To the snake, God says to the Nachash, because you have done this, etc., etc., etc. Right? And right, when it comes to someone who tries to push someone else away from following the path of God, then we don't start getting into, we don't try to defend that individual. Okay, without going so much into that. So the very first episode is when Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, when they deny personal responsibility. So the very first episode is teaching us freedom comes with responsibility. There are boundaries. The boundaries must be kept, and you cannot deny your personal responsibility.
I get a quick question.
Yes, Dov.
Why does it say she gave also to her husband with her? Isn't that obvious? That
Yeah, okay, yes, right, yes. There are thousands of questions that can be asked on this, right? Probably that she was telling her, I want, right? And what pulled Adam was he wanted to be with her. If this is his partner, then they have to be able to experience things the same way. If she is, right, God, you gave her to me as my partner. Well, we can't have a situation that we're living in different worlds. And once she ate from the Eitz Hadas, she was in a different world from the world before eating the Eitz Hadas. So that's the with me that's going on over there. Let's go. Sorry?
She wanted to share.
She wanted to share. Yeah, but I think it goes even deeper. Yeah. Okay, let's go to page 20 and page 21. Okay, let's go to episode number 2. Topic 21. Abel became a shepherd. Cain was a tiller of the ground. Rashi says that Hevel wanted to move away from the ground once it was cursed as a result of the chait of the Eitz Hadas, the sin of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now he wanted, after a period of time, Cain brought an offering to Hashem of fruit of the ground. And as for Hevel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock from their choicest. Hashem turned to Hevel and to his offering, accepted it. But to Cain's offering he did not turn. This annoyed Cain exceedingly, and his countenance fell. So when I was by the Sfardim this past Shabbos, so someone said to me, Rabbi, I don't understand. Your kids, they made this mess on a piece of paper that they claimed was artwork, right? The crayons all over the place. And they said, Daddy, look, what did you do with it? I hung it on the fridge. I said, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. My little Picasso. Wow. Amazing. Right? So how could God do this how could God react in this way to Cain? And I said, if my 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old took the crayons and scribbled and scratched on a piece of paper and handed it to me, and that's the best that they can do, I said, beautiful. But if my 16-year-old would do that, I wouldn't say beautiful and hang it on the fridge, because he could do, or she could do, that much better. So God is not measuring Cain against Hevel or Hevel against Cain. God is measuring Hevel against Hevel and Cain against Cain. Hevel brought from the choicest, and Cain did not. He was annoyed. Vayipol panav, and his face fell. His countenance fell. And Hashem said to Cain, Lama charalecha, v'lama lefufanecha. Why are you annoyed? Why is your countenance fallen? Halo im teitev se'et. Vim lo teitev lepetach chatat rovetz, ve'lechat shukato v'ata timshol bo. If you improve yourself, you'll be lifted up, forgiven. But if you don't, sin rests at the door. Its desire is towards you, yet you can conquer it. So at this point, take responsibility for yourself. Personal responsibility. Instead, if he is feeling rejected, what does he do? He's feeling angered. He takes that rejection, he takes that anger, and he puts it on to the other person. Cain spoke with his brother Hevel, and it happened when they were in the field that Cain rose up against his brother Hevel and killed him. Hashem said to Cain, Ayeh Hevel achicha. Where is Hevel? Hevel achicha. Where is Hevel, your brother? Vayomer. And he answered, Lo yadati. I don't know. Hashomer achi anochi. Am I the guardian of my brother? Am I my brother's keeper? This is a different type of denial. I'm not denying personal responsibility. I'm not saying I didn't do it. I'm not saying he started. He provoked me. What am I saying over here? What's the denial over here?
Isn't that a denial by deceit? Because he's being deceitful too. Because he knows that he killed him.
But he's not denying that. He's not denying that. I'm not saying I didn't do it. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I responsible for what happened? I'm not denying personal responsibility. This Rabbi Sacks says, what is he denying? He's denying what he calls moral responsibility. Why can't I make my rules? Whose society to tell me what is right? Who's anyone else? Oh, I mean, we have this. This is rampant today. This moral relativism. Who is anyone else to tell me what's right or wrong? I decide what's right and what's wrong. You have this in certain strains of Judaism. There's no what you should or shouldn't do. You decide. If it speaks to you, do it. If it doesn't speak to you, don't do it. In the culture at large, who is anyone else to tell me what is moral? It always strikes me, well, so now, same-sex marriage. Now, who is, right, and physician-assisted suicide. Right? Something which was murder, which was so woven into the very fabric of a society, physician-assisted. Right? Who is anyone else to tell me what is right or what is wrong? Now, I wonder if the proponents of same-sex marriage, if they would also feel that we should allow a marriage between a mother and a son, a father and a daughter, only when they are of consenting ages, of course. But how do you draw the line? If we're saying that no one else can tell, how can someone else impose their morals on me? So then how do you draw the line?
There's a moral guide. And this is our moral guide.
Yes, but once we discount that, then how does one draw the line anywhere? What's wrong with polygamy? I want to have 5 wives. What's wrong with a woman wanting to have 5 husbands? I'm just saying. I'm not agreeing. I'm saying, how do you draw, if there are no, how do you draw, where are the lines drawn? What determines that? Now, you had also Nazi Germany, where they can make their own rules. And they decide that these people are Untermenschen, are lower forms of humanity. They should be exterminated. And other ones, they can stay alive, but they need to serve the highest level of people. That's what we feel. That's our moral decision. That's our moral view. And who is anyone else to tell me that your moral view is better, preferred, loftier, holier, more correct than mine? That is Kayin over here. That is that there needs to be a sense of moral responsibility. That there is definite yes and no. And it's not all just this moral relativism, right? Who are you, God, to impose on me, Kayin, that this is right or this is wrong? Hashomer achi anochi. Am I a brother's keeper? I do what makes sense to me. I do what seems right to me. So the very second lesson of the Torah from the second episode is that in addition to there being personal responsibility, there also needs to be this moral responsibility. There is imposed, set, right and wrong. And the fact that you don't see it as wrong doesn't make it right. Might doesn't make right. Let's go to this week's Parsha.
By the way, when Ciner chooses
I don't want to veer off because we have a limited amount of time. And again, with these, right, parshiot, right, you know, we could spend years on each parak. Forget about each parsha. The third episode is Noach. And the world is, page 30, Pasuk Yud Aleph, Vatishachet ha'aretz lefnei ha'elokim. Earth had become corrupt before God. Vatimalei ha'aretz chamas, and it was filled with robbery. Vayar Elokim et ha'aretz v'hinei nishchata. God saw that the land was in a corrupted state. Ki yishchit kol basar et darko al haaretz, because all the flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. Moral bankruptcy that affected even the animal kingdom. Thievery, robbery, no boundaries. Now, the very first pasuk, Eila toldot Noach, these are the offspring of Noach. Noach ish tzaddik. Noach was a righteous person. Tamim, haya b'dorotav, perfect in his generations. Et ha'elokim et halech Noach, with God, Noach walked. And then it says he gave birth to his 3 sons. So these are the offspring of Noach. So in the English we have those dashes, right? Meaning that once we mention Noach, let's speak well about him. An important lesson. When you're speaking of someone, speak well. Another interpretation is, as Rashi gives both of these, the main toldot, the main offspring of a person is one's actions. But by the end of the Parsha, we find page 42, Noach, who on page 30, the first pasuk was referred to as Ish Tzaddik. Now what is he referred to as? Pasuk Chaf 20, Vayachel Noach Ish Ha'adama Vayita Kerem. Noach, the Ish Ha'adama, the man of the earth, debased himself. And he went and planted a vineyard, and then he drank, and he got drunk, etc., etc. How does he go from Ish Tzaddik into Ish Ha'adama? So Noach, it's interesting. Hashem said to Noach, right, let's look back to page 31. God said to Noah, "And all flesh shall come before me, earth filled with robbery, I'm about to destroy them from the earth. Make for yourself an ark, gopher wood, compartments, inside out, this is how you should make it, on and on and on over there. As for me," verse 17, page 33, "I'm about to bring the flood waters, right? But I will establish a covenant with you. You will enter the ark, you, your sons, your wife, your sons, your wives, and all that lives, right? And from each bird, as for you, take food eaten," right? God speaks through verse 21. What does verse 22 tell us? What's Noach's response? Radio silence. Noach did according to everything that God commanded him. So he did. Chapter 7, verse 1. God said to Noah, "Come to the ark." Right? For in 7 days, send the rain. Verse 5. What's Noach's response? Radio silence. Noach did according to everything that Hashem commanded him. And Noach was 600. Right? Right? What is missing? What is missing? Noach doesn't talk. Noach doesn't talk. So what does he do? For 120 years, he builds an ark to save himself, his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives. He had a teva. Who else was in a teva? Moshe was also in a teva. Let's contrast Moshe and Noach. Noach, the whole world is getting destroyed. What does he have to say? Nothing. What is Moshe? Moshe's in the palace. He's a prince being brought up in the palace, the furthest possible from the slave, the slavery imposed on his brethren. But he goes out and he sees a Jew being beaten, and he gets involved to save him from being beaten to death. And then he sees two people fighting, Lama taka et reyecha. That's Moshe. That's Moshe. What is Noach? Noach is denying the idea of collective responsibility. Adam denied personal responsibility. Noach was an ish tzaddik. In terms of his personal responsibility, he was incredible. Et ha'elokim et halech Noach. He's walking with God. But you can't be this person who closed himself up in his room. The whole world is going to get destroyed. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm righteous. My sons, my wife, my sons' wives, they're all good. That turns an ish tzaddik into an Ish Adamah. So we had the first episode of Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, which is about personal responsibility. We have the second episode, Cain and Hevel, which is about moral responsibility. And now we have the third episode, Noach, which is about collective responsibility. Let's go to the fourth episode before we are introduced to Avram. And that is very strange, very concise, 9 verses, page 48, page 49. The whole earth, chapter 11, was of one language and of common purpose. And it came to pass when they migrated from the east, they found a valley in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, come, let us make bricks and burn them in fire. And the bricks served them as stone, and the bitumen served them as mortar. And they said, come, let us build us a city and a tower with its top in the heavens. And let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be destroyed.